Late Night Grin. Also, what does that name mean?
We're live, folks. In true LNG fashion, the lads got the full experience there, the bumper, the intro, the works. We are here for a very special edition of Late Night Grin, live on a Wednesday. If we move days, you know there's a good reason for it. And today, of course, we are joined by, dare I say, LNG royalty, dare I say. I mean, beyond that, obviously, probably above that on the list of accomplishments would be, you know, one of the more decorated teams the last 20 years. But in this world, LNG royalty is probably what we'll go with. Excited, fired up. This is going to be a hell of a time hanging out with the lads here. Fellas, Machine Gun Karl Anderson, how are you?
Joe, listen, it feels like talking shop is right now going on because I look at the screen, I realize that we're live, and I see Gallows' Yeti full of gimmick in front of his camera.
Yes, indeed.
And we have started.
Hey, everybody, good to see you.
Hey, Gallows, man, what are you doing, man? Hey, Joe, thanks for having us, bro. You know, we appreciate the Late Night Grin support. We appreciate your support and now your friendship. And so now it's fun to just be here. And you know, dude, thanks for having us. This is fun.
What a beautiful open, Joe. What great editing. I hate to come on the show and first thing out of the gate ask for a personal favor, but if you could fire our editing team, that would be amazing.
Well, that's what I said, you know, when you guys were putting over the Tokyo tape, it's like, I didn't do any of the work. I just talked to you four guys and then Rice and Tope.
I'm just asking you to get rid of our entire team and, you know, give us yours. That'd be great.
Am I head of talent relations now? Is that what's happening?
Yes.
Where did you find
You're the talking shop head of TR. We need to do that for Lariato Pro too. We got a lot of people who get fired and somehow sneak back in when we're not.
I will not be doing
Very
that.
Weird.
Well, we run it with an iron fist, but then we feel bad immediately and we bring them back. Yeah.
Now that don't include me in the we.
I bring them all back.
Babyface and talent relations. I love it. Tremendous stuff, folks. Appreciate you joining us. We know Dynamite is still on for another like 20 minutes or so, and people will be filing in. But hell of a house already, and exciting times. I said to Machine Gun here, he entered and he was like, what are we actually doing? I said, I don't know, man. We're going to just, you know, we call it in the ring, right?
Fuck, it's a Late Night Grin, baby.
Yeah, well, Gallows messaged me and was like, "Hey, so you watching Dynamite?" And I said, "Of course not. Like, I've got 5 sons, right? They had sports tonight. The baby's just been insane today. I've been chasing him around, and I said it's impossible to watch Dynamite. And I go, hold on a second, is this a watch along? Are we supposed to review Dynamite? And I go, I'm not prepared to review Dynamite yet. I haven't moved all the way into broadcast journalism. I'm still an active, famous professional wrestler. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like I was sold a bill of goods by the Machine Gun when it was insinuated that I was to watch Dynamite. So I did.
Yeah.
And, I enjoyed most of it. It was a hell of a show. And I saw one of the key moments that popped the hell out of me was fourth rope zone. We love fourth rope. Cha-Cha Charlie, fourth rope star, if you will. Just in the AEW security shirt, breaking up fights.
So did Cha-Cha Charlie make his AEW debut?
Well,
what?
If his real name's, Charlie Simpson, he made his AEW debut. I don't know about the Cha-Cha Charlie and the sombrero. But,
so did they call him Cha-Cha Charlie when he was doing
No one said his name. He didn't
named.
execute an offensive or defensive maneuver, but he sure was on screen. So he got that in there and good for Cha-Cha,
Yeah.
Yeah. My goodness. I'm now imagining us doing like a Dynamite watch along, and that would be a very different show, I think. Very different.
Well, I'll tell you this. Powerhouse Hobbs was just killing it out there. Big Powerhouse Hobbs fan. Love Powerhouse Hobbs. Everyone kept saying, what do you think of the show? I have my dad's here from out of town. My son was watching with me, my beautiful wife. And I just said, look at Powerhouse Hobbs. And they said, why do you love Powerhouse Hobbs so much? And I go, what's not to love? about Powerhouse Hobbs. The entire package is 100% perfect, obviously, and Powerhouse Hobbs loves me. So anybody who's a fan of me, I'm a fan back, regardless of anything else.
Yeah, you're actually right about that. It's since we're moving directly into broadcast journalism, we actually did love Powerhouse Hobbs the first time we saw him. It was like, and then on top of the fact that we thought he had a ridiculously bright future 5 years ago.
We knew it. Forecasters of the business.
Yeah, of course. But on top of that, he's also a genuinely like really nice guy. So
he's a good human, and sometimes that can be a rarity in this form of entertainment.
I said this to you guys, like when we were doing that talking show, like, after we recorded it. I think for people watching this, it's so refreshing to hear like decorated pros just talk about pros that way. That's not because it's kind of gone the other way, right? Like I think there's a trend in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I didn't mean to step on you already. This
no, you're good.
It's the trendiest thing in the whole broadcast journalism front is the clickbait. So you have to say, like, if I was trying to get clickbait on Talking Shop, I'd be like, "Oh, Holbert sucks. He's an asshole.
Yeah.
We're doing a show tomorrow night." But I might not even mean it. It's just the trend, I feel like.
Yeah. I think that's the easy thing to do is just to probably criticize this or criticize that. I mean, heck, I think the Talking Shop brothers of Gallows and Anderson have gone that route of just, we've said a lot of off the wall stuff just to see what happens. And then people really take everything serious. And it's like, oh man.
Yeah. At one point we turned our entire audience on.
I am a little
proven that can also go against you for sure.
The best one was the Rock one was an all timer. People were very angry about that, dude.
Listen, The Rock, listen, I in 1996, 97, 98, like he's got to be a top 4 for me if we're doing a Mount Rushmore thing.
96, huh?
96. I liked him as soon as he was in the Nation of Domination, which I think I thought
Rocky Maivia was cool, but I like the baby faces. So
yeah. I didn't like Rocky Maivia much, but I loved when he turned
years right. Be a real journalist.
Yeah. But of course, this was I grew up in Asheville, North Carolina, and it took a long time for me to turn to the WWF, right? Even all the way until 96, 97, like I didn't want to put on Raw. I wanted to keep it on Nitro. And then, come on, man, Stone Cold Steve Austin kept talking. Stone Cold Steve Austin talking. And then when The Rock turned, it was like, hold on a second.
And by that point,
now we're talking.
So WCW had lost their roots too by that point, right? 100%.
Yeah. Well, there's also Raw shows up in January of 93. Nitro doesn't show up until I believe the middle of 95. Joe would know better than I did.
September.
So did you never watch Monday Night Wrestling? Like, what was your thing? Like on you watch WCW Saturday night before you're into your adolescence and want to go out and do teenage boy things? Was that when you would? No, I'm asking.
Me or Joe?
You.
Oh,
yes.
We've never talked about the show you watched. We've talked for hours about you being at WCW.
So I grew up a huge, I was NWA, Rock and Roll Express, Four Horsemen, Sting, Lex Luger, Nikita Koloff, the whole everybody in there. And then at around 93 to 96, when a lot of people kind of checked out, I also kind of checked out, right?
Yeah.
And then, and all of a sudden one day is when I turned Nitro back on. Well, I was flipping through the channels and I saw Nitro on, which would have been, what year is it? 96?
95.
It's
95.
Yeah.
So I think I saw Arn Anderson hit a DDT or a spine buster. And I went, I said, where has this been? And of course it was Saturday and Sundays before, but I missed a couple of years, on and off. But when I finally found Nitro again, it was like, whoa, baby. Then I started to figure out that, Raw and Nitro were going at each other.
It's a shame how there's so many elements to that old school, early WCW presentation, the elements they kept from Jim Crockett Promotions. So many of those are lost now. They seem completely absent almost from the national stage, to me anyway, which is
It's so funny when you talk about those years, like when you talk about those early 90s years when wrestling takes the big downturn, right? Because I remember being such a fan in the bad years. I was the only kid offended by the Attitude Era when it first started.
Yeah.
Like I remember there was a kid in my class named Jeremy who I was kind of friends with, but I knew he didn't like wrestling. And we're like sophomores in high school. And he came in and he had a Stone Cold Steve Austin 316 shirt on. I go, this is absolute bullshit.
Stolen valor.
So after class, I said, come here. And I wrote him a 10-question quiz. And I made the questions hard as hell. They were like, what size boot does King Kong Bundy wear? what was the Honky Tonk Man's finish at SummerSlam '88. And I said, if you get one of these wrong, you're taking that shirt off. And he didn't get any of them right, so I took the shirt from him. I was so offended by it. I go, these wrestling fans are not real fans. This is bullshit. I don't like it. It took me like a year to accept it that it was popular.
Well, and I have a picture of me and my brother and my mom, and it says Ric Flair is going to kick butt in 1994. I wrote it, and I had and
you're a heel fan. That's why you're such a dick.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Ric Flair was cool though.
It was at the Asheville Civic Center. I mean, and that was, so like I said, I didn't know where it was. I wasn't all the way enthralled, but if it came to the Civic Center, dude, I was going, and if I saw it on TV, I wanted to watch it. But it was always a part of a huge.
You were there for one of the badass building too. That had to be cool when we went there the first time. You
were there for one of the Flair Funk matches, right?
I was there for a Terry Funk, Nature Boy Ric Flair, a babyface at the Asheville Civic Center. But that was awesome. I'll never forget it. But the one that I'll never forget, because I think this guy doesn't get enough credit. I've said it a couple of times.
Oh, I know where you're
not sure why, and even I forget a lot of times, is Nikita Koloff, man.
Yeah,
and he had the Russian sickle, and he was in the heel group of the three Russian brothers, and they had the bald heads, and they would. But then when he finally turned babyface, dude, it was Nikita Koloff coming for Nature Boy Ric Flair's big world championship. When I can't explain how over Nikita Koloff was, right? And he beat Ric Flair in the Asheville Civic Center and takes the world title and leaves. And I'm just losing my mind. I can still see it.
Yeah,
I can still see Nikita Koloff walking out of the arena, and the place is sold out with the big world belt, the big gold world belt. And then let's just say 2 days later on television, Ric Flair's cutting a promo and he's got the title. And and 7-year-old me is going, how in the
Wait a second.
Where did he get the title?
They must have went to Rio de Janeiro.
Somebody help me here. Where did he lose it back in Charlotte? What happened? Or I couldn't understand.
I've weirdly thought about your point on Nikita Koloff, because we've talked about it several times, like driving and stuff. You know what I think happened with Nikita Koloff? He was awesome. He really was awesome in that era. But I think because he gets out of the business like the end of 94, 95. So before it gets hot at all again, he's gone. So his babyface run is seen by like the least amount of people. And then he has no run through that Attitude Era where all those guys, like even the guys that were over, they blew up all over again to a new audience. And then all the new stars are born. Like people who didn't watch wrestling, like they just thought Ric Flair was always 50 years old and he was nuts. But he's over all over again. And like Nikita's a forgotten entity by 1996, 97,
over for years. Like if you look at the War Games in 92, they do the thing where him and Sting embrace. That's like a magic moment in WCW history.
When they bring him out the first time and like he's a heel and his traps are like up above his ears, and he's like the first incarnation of like, as a kid, if you saw him, I was really little then and didn't watch WCW yet, but he looks like freaking Goldberg looked when he showed up in, whatever year, 95, 96, 97, whatever it was.
And more power to him. Like, how cool is it to be? Because so many guys don't and can't, and for him to literally leave the business and
on his own accord,
and never and kind of never come back, except for a couple of appearances through the last 30 years. But,
that's it.
I mean, there's a Starrcade. I can't remember if it's Starrcade 88 or 89. Was that the night of the Skywalkers with the Midnight Express and the Rock and Roll, or the Midnights and the Road Warriors?
Yes, sir.
And I think it was Nikita and Ric Flair, and they were with the scaffold above the ring. And dude, I mean, that I can't explain how much I love Nikita Koloff, and literally just I don't believe he gets enough run, because people I don't think remember him now, because the end of the 80s I believe were his biggest.
Yeah, that's when he was the hottest, but he did have that hot babyface run in the early 90s you're talking about. I remember watching it back, not necessarily seeing it when it happened. Yeah, but that goes back to like we were in a locker room, Joe. You were talking I think off the air about how insane our schedule is, and we're doing 3, 4, 5 matches a week, 2 matches a week, but always multiple matches a week as we're out here in the wild again. But we were it was fun. We were at a county fair in Ohio, and we're sitting in this, and the few names have this special trailer that was for us, and Ricky Morton and Shane Douglas are in there, and it was just so much fun to sit and talk with them. It's us, Enzo, and those guys. And Ricky, Ricky's great, but he'll tell you the same story 100 times. But he started talking about he's training for an hour Broadway that he's doing on some upcoming indie in the Carolinas. And he was excited about telling us that. And he said, you guys don't understand, man. Rick gets a bad rap now, but he was the man when it came to doing the Broadway. But think about that. Like, when you think about that, though, probably Nikita Koloff, he's a big man in the 80s. Like, up until having to do an hour with Flair, his longest match was probably like 11 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Flair just goes out there and wrestles himself and bounces off this big superhuman guy and makes him look like Superman. It is
Dusty a lot,
amazing, amazing thing.
Yeah.
To be that type of a performer. It's pretty cool when you think about it like that.
I'm glad that you bring that up because we were changing in like a brothered out trailer that I came out of the bathroom for like it was like the third time I'd gone.
Y'all guys don't flush the toilet in there, okay?
Yeah. And then Ricky Morton tells me not to pee in that toilet. And I'm thinking, I've already peed in that toilet like 4 times.
Well, we were secretly peeing and flushing it because we were like, we're just gonna do it. And we'll hope he doesn't catch us.
Yeah. But then, and listening to Ricky tell stories, you're laughing, dude. And then Shane Douglas, who was like I've said this on our last pod, was probably a Mount Rushmore ECW guy, right?
Yeah,
or at least
I would say so.
a very
for some people, yeah. I thought he was super cool in that era.
Yeah, what I remember, because I wasn't a huge ECW guy, but what I remember was like Shane Douglas was always the champion. Was all I can recall.
He said "God damn it" a lot, really loud.
He did.
I think you were allowed to do that on TV, but he somehow did it. That was weird.
But sitting in that trailer with like Shane Douglas and Ricky Morton, and we're sitting there like and it's just and Shane Douglas goes, how great is this, guys, to be doing this on a Wednesday? And we're just hanging out. We're about to go do what we love, and I'm like, yeah, it's great. It's just it was great because it's listening to 2 guys who I look up to and respect. They paved the way for us to do what we do, and listening to them talk, it's always
it's a blast.
It's really, really cool, man.
It's
you
awesome.
get to go back in time and sit there like a little kid. That's always fun, especially when it's just you and them in that scenario. It's cool.
We wrestled at a fair. It was a fair again.
I was going to say, yeah.
I looked at each other and I go, brother, I think we're 8 up, brother. 8 up is a Midwest.
We're doing the Millionaire at the County Fair tour, brother.
How hard is it to adjust from like the schedule you guys were doing before? Was crazy, right? Because you would go to TV, maybe do a doc, maybe do something like, and honestly, when you were in NXT, you were more busy. But at the end there, you were just SmackDown. Is it fun adjusting, or is it challenging adjusting to 2 matches a week, 3 matches a week?
It's honestly, it's both, Joe. It's both because it's now every single day something new happens, and we just got so bored, and we were bored, and we wanted out of it, but we were doing well financially, obviously. Thank God we still are, but it wasn't fulfilling creatively or whatever. And then he got hurt. And when he got hurt, that's when like the misery kicked in for me because like at least we had each other and I would go there and I'd be by myself and I'm not getting used. I don't talk to anybody really at this point. And then they'd like a couple of times go, well, who's not booked? And I'm just sitting there and catering, like, drawing circles in my salad. And they go, Gallows. And I go, what? Yeah. They go, they need you in a dark against insert other guy not booked here. Okay. Who's up? Am I baby face or heel?
Yeah.
Okay. And it was not full. It would be fun it was fun when I was in the ring. I'm not going to say that it wasn't. Yeah. That's fulfilling to us. Yeah. But it just knowing that there was not a point of it and it wasn't going anywhere. So like doing the stuff we're doing, like we were working on business deals all day, working on international stuff, working on some other corporate shit that I think could be really fun if it all pans out. It's going in that direction, and it just feels like you're driven again. So that I'm thankful that we have that. It's makes us feel alive.
Yeah, it's like another era. It's like, we had. I look at it like this. I did independent wrestling, my independent wrestling era. Mm-hmm. Where I went from Chad Allegro to Karl Anderson, and they're like, "Why did you take the name Karl Anderson?" And I go, "Dude, somebody just told me I was Karl Anderson. I don't know." I clearly didn't.
Dude, that's such a great to break into your story right there. But like, you're always like, "Yeah, they just called me that." But like, if you ask wrestling fans who love like the in-ring product, you're like on the Mount Rushmore of Andersons for in-ring workers, and you didn't even know you were going to be one. Someone just goes, "Oh, you're an Anderson." You go, "All right." Now you're like rated up there with Arn
I'll take it. Hold on. Let's before we start getting a whole Reddit page of me being me comparing myself to a double.
You didn't compare him. You didn't compare yourself.
He's innocent, folks. He's innocent.
I said it, and I just said I think. Well, hold on. The Reddit people do respect Karl's work rate. They may not like him personally, but they do respect his work rate.
They might not like me personally, but they think I'm a decent worker.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's true too. But to back what I was saying,
nobody thinks you're Lars Anderson, for Christ's sakes.
No, who knows? Who knows? But no matter what, Joe, this is a very fun. It's fun. It's different. I'll tell you this: we did not. If being fully transparent, I didn't expect this now. I just didn't expect this yet. We had a couple more years left with WWE. We kind of figured we would ride that. We would be there for a couple more years, and then we would do this, or really, of course, we want to break into this area, right? We love being able to sit and riff and talk about wrestling. And do we want to review wrestling? I don't know, but we want to talk about shit that's going on, and we do love that aspect of it because we love pro wrestling. But doing what we're doing now, it's just different. And you saw us in the UK, like, dude, it's fun. How can you say it's the only stress is possibly having to go through the the airport or whatever. That part sucks still, but I mean, we get to hang out, we get to laugh, we get to do what we do. We love to do for real, and it's just it's an interesting point in the Good Brothers career.
Well, Joe, too, I think like it each week is a new experience. Like you would have loved this, and I personally really loved it. Like, we went down to El Paso, Texas. We did the seminars. We always think we don't want to do them, and they're really fulfilling, and I think we enjoy them more than the people taking them. We did a fun meet and greet. Okay, great. That was our Saturday. Well, Sunday we're crossing the border. We're going into Juarez, Mexico. We're going to the city of Juarez. Presents Lucha Libre Festival once a year, and it's growing every year, but we have no clue what to expect. And both of us were in the car and we're going, we've wrestled all over Mexico, but neither one of us have ever done Juarez. And I just remember we used to like stay on the Rio Grande in the TV hotel and be like, don't go over into Juarez no matter what you do. When we went into Juarez, and Pagano, one half of the AAA tag team champions, who's in the big storyline now with the Wyatt Six. He's kind of booking the show. The president of the city, like a fancy term for their mayor, he's there on hand. They have Lucha Libre going on all day, 12, 15 hours of it.
Damn.
We're the main event at the end of the evening. There's thousands of people there. It was like a celebration of professional wrestling culture in Mexico. And like, the fan in me was just looking at that going, man, that's
awesome.
Amazing. Yeah. It is so cool to see. And like, all these people were just here. They're not here because there's racing over there or football over there. They're just here because they love professional wrestling. They love Lucha Libre, and they all know us, and they're excited we're here. And that's fulfilling. And I think that's really cool. And it's something like when you get to do stuff like that, or like when we came to Rev Pro, we hadn't been in England for a non-WWE event in over a decade. That was really fun. Like stuff like that, when you have a new experience like that each week, I think that's something you gotta appreciate it, especially when you're 2 decades plus in like we are. You start to really think like, fuck, man, it's cool we get to do this, and we're still out here doing it, and we're still rocking it at a high level. So it's enjoyable. And
you can tell there's a genuine nostalgia for 10 years ago Bullet Club, right? And like, it adds a lot that you guys, not only do you look, like you did then, you actually look better now, I think, than you did then. So you're not like a nostalgia act, right? Well, no, because it's like, look, we all love, there's this nostalgia acts that can tour the globe, and God bless them, good luck to them, but they're nostalgia acts. You guys are fresh off TV, and people, it's been 10 years now since, 10 years ago, you guys were winding down actually in New Japan. That's how long it's been. It's like,
we're getting ready to leave 10 years ago.
Yeah. And I'm sure you meet fans who that's like a definitive part of their fandom. I'm sure every week you see that, right?
It was actually surprising because we had this meet and greet that this promoter set up for us as like this extra thing in El Paso. And we're driving over there and we go, this will be fun. We'll stay for a little bit. We'll see how it is. And we walked in the door and they erupted, but it wasn't like OC shirts. It wasn't WWE shirts. It was every rendition of a Bullet Club shirt you've ever seen. And they wanted to talk about Bullet Club. And we started taking pictures on our phones, which I don't think we've posted all of them or maybe one or two, but like there were like 8 or 9 grown men with BC for life, Bullet Club, like the flag, all this stuff tattooed all over him. And I'm like, man, that's cool that affected you that much. And it's been that long ago. And you know, I've had a lot of tattoos covered up over the years. It's still there. So obviously it left a lasting effect.
Yeah, no, it's true. But yeah, El Paso and Mexico, and everywhere that we've been, it's been like, I've almost seen more. Now, again, this is our first time really truly diving into like the independent scene as well, right?
In a long time, yeah.
But it is a lot of people, you know, bringing up how cool the Bullet Club was, and I'm seeing a lot of people saying that they watched this when they were children, and I'm like, I mean, well, what's a child? Like, I was like, I was 9 or 10, and I'm like, geez, dude.
Let's go to my pet peeve on that. I mean, you know.
Yeah, but there's absolutely something right now that's going, and I think maybe because it's the first time we're free as like, dude, nobody owns us right now, and that's, and I'm telling you, I don't think anybody's going to. It's gonna take too much for someone.
Don't start talking about money.
I'm not talking about money. I'm saying I'm not talking about money. I'm just saying it's gonna take. Like if you want me to talk about what you want me to talk about on your podcast on a radio show, it's gonna take too much. I'm just saying, if you want to own me and tell me where I got to be and when I got to do it, I just don't know that I don't know if I have it in me to do that anymore.
You're a terribly hard person to boss around. I've tried for 12 years, failed miserably.
Yeah, I've done it for too long now, and to be able to just do, you know, come as we please and hang out with Joe when we hung out with Joe in England, and not worry about getting in trouble except for the lady, you know, coming banging on our door because Gallows was being too loud. I mean,
that's never happened. So take that.
But this is a beautiful time in our career, Joe.
But I will go to this. It does bring up a pet peeve, Joe. I mean, we're getting to meet great fans around the world. It's a personal experience. It's more personal now than like when you're working in the big companies, because there's not always this up close encounter between wrestler and fan. And the fans have been so great. But when a guy walks up to me and he's clearly 10 years older than me, 15, white beard, saggy, nice guy, and he goes, "My God, Gallows, I watched you when I was a little kid, and I watched you all the time I was growing up." And I'm going, what? I mean, did you age terribly? Like, you're 57. You didn't watch me as a kid. You watched me when you were younger. Don't say
that's not true.
5, if he's Gallows figure, that's not true.
If he's 32, he watched you when he was 12.
Well, then he needs some lotion and some beard dye.
Oh, he should. We all need a little lotion and beard dye as we get up there, brother. Yeah, well, Gallows refuses.
I'm not talking about 30-year-olds. I'm talking about people double that age going, when I was a kid, Gallows, man, you were Festus. I'm like, I wasn't Festus in 1984. Okay, I wasn't on that.
That's true. So I will say, you brought up the seminar. I was a little surprised to see, because when I hear, especially Machine Gun, talk about wrestling, I've never previously got the sense that you were desperate to get in there and teach someone, you know, hammerlock, a collar and elbow. But I saw the clip of it you guys posted, and it looked really cool. Is it challenging slightly mentally to adjust to, like, the kids you're training are absolutely examples of what we just spoke about, right? Like, they've absolutely watched you on TV. There's probably a little bit starstruck, and like, to you, to them, you are what, you know, an Arn Anderson was to you guys, or whatever the example may be. It's different, right?
It is. But like, I think, like, for me, I was so young going into that system. Like, I was lucky enough to have like Arn Anderson or Finley step in the ring and go, no, you need to do it like this. And I'm not comparing myself to them in any way, shape, or form, but like, you know, it's really cool to hear it from someone like that. And one of the things we hear when we don't do these a lot, but when we do it, is we finished, and the people in charge of the building, the owner, whatever of the school, said the trainer was upset when you guys were doing that, because he said that he tells them the same thing every week and they don't listen, but then you guys come say it. But it's like disciplining a child. Like, you hear your mom and dad say it 100 times in a row, but then you know, your big nasty uncle comes and says, hey, you shouldn't do that because of this. And you go, oh shit, I better not do that, or whatever. You know what I mean? It's just hearing it from somebody else, or somebody that, you know, I remember some of the first things those guys told me when I got into that system, because I wasn't trained by somebody who was a famous veteran wrestler. So when I got into the system in my early 20s, when those guys said something, I'm like, well, they know, they've been on TV for 15 years and I've been watching, so I better listen to what they said. So maybe it's like that. I don't know. It's more fun than we would think it would be. So that's why we've been a little more open to doing it, I think.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think I've done a really good job at at creating this
Exactly.
character, this heel character. I did
Bright
a really
lights.
good job. I just saw something on Twitter that said I saw Machine Gun with his wife at Epcot, and like
He wasn't a dick.
I didn't say, well, he said I didn't say anything to him, and I was like, come, next time you come up to me. He didn't say he was a dick, but I think I created a really good
facade,
silly heel character. But dude, professional wrestling is the only thing I've ever loved since I was 5 years old,
Yes,
right?
sir.
And so, but when all is said and done, to be able to sit there and train guys and train girls and see them, I can tell that they were 19, 20-year-old kids. So they saw us on television when they were 10 years old, 11 years old. And I know how cool that is. I know how cool it is because, when I went to WWE, I wrestled John Cena, and I was beside John Cena. I was beside Roman Reigns. I mean, I know how it feels to be in there with guys, with big guns, with guys you've seen on television. And then those guys ended up becoming my friends. I know how it feels to stand next to people that you've seen on television. I get it. And I do love to teach pro wrestling.
Yeah.
I really, truly do. I do have an honest passion for it. My only thing is this, I'm just not ready to hang it up. And so
That's
and I feel, and it's not, and of course it winds down for us all. And when it does, I feel like I can do that, and I can easily, morph into that role. I'm just so hyper focused on getting the absolute maximum out of what I've got inside of this body and inside the Good Brother world and inside of whatever we've got prepared, that's just where my head is, man.
It's not time to rest in peace.
Yeah. It's not time.
I don't want to take a break yet.
I was honestly my favorite part because by the time the Tokyo tape came out, I'd seen it like 18 times, obviously, because we were, editing it consistently. And I do think, like, genuinely, because that perception, and I know a lot of it is just that, perception, but like, there is that great moment when you're recalling the match and you say, you're like, people can say what they want about me. I love pro wrestling. And you could tell you got back into that moment. And I think sometimes, you were being funny, bright lights, this and this, that. People, I think, take things you say very seriously, and I think at this point, there's evidence that shouldn't be the case.
Yeah, no, of course, and dude, you've got to stand on what you say. I mean, I've said some fucking outlandish shit, but also don't forget, guys, half the time you can't blame a man for what he says if he doesn't remember, right, Gallows? That was one of our stays.
We used to say that all the time. You can't be mad at a man who doesn't remember.
Yeah, I said what when I was hammered last night? No, I didn't. You know what I mean?
You talk about that, and we're sitting here as wrestlers and a wrestling journalist talking to wrestling fans as we are too, and think about how wrestling. Think about the turn in wrestling. Like we're into a fifth wall. I feel like you were supposed to make everybody believe, and then everybody knew, and then somehow with everybody knowing, with his words, he made them believe again that he's really an asshole. And now we're all the way over that door, going, "Hey, listen, guys, it was a joke. Relax."
It's really strange, dude.
I just wish I would have
got
got a little more credit for being such a great actor,
being such a great worker. Yeah,
Dude,
you deserve an Academy Award.
I told you this in
almost
person.
should have won an Oscar. You know what I mean? But also in the last
Oscar Anderson goes up there on the mountain.
in the last couple of years, I've had a beautiful awakening, and I've kind of like found myself a little better, and I've kind of seen that. Maybe you just don't need to say some shit, because that stuff that you might have said 15 years ago, might not, shouldn't be said, as they were 5 years ago.
Right. Maturity takes place. Maturity takes place. And also, 5 years ago was a hell of a time in our lives, not just our careers, but our lives. Like that really did happen to us in real life. We did participate in the main event of WrestleMania, and then be subsequently released 11 days later, shockingly released. And, we were younger then. We had a lot of emotion and a lot of testosterone flying through us. And there was a certain reaction. Do you regret some of the things you said because they live forever on the internet? Sure. But I mean, hey, like, we're human beings too. I think some people see you as larger than life, and they think that you're not going to have a a human reaction to thing. But you watch somebody not get mayonnaise on their cheeseburger on social media, and they're ready to fly through the drive-through window. You know what I mean? So
people can accuse you guys of a lot. Not being very outwardly human at all times is not one of them. Like, you guys have wore every step of the way. You've wore what's going on, right? And that's I think that's part of why your fan base is as connected as they are, because when you're not doing anything on TV, your fan base is like, it's fine, fuck them. You know, good roles will be fine when they're out there. Like, that's the way they look at it. I don't think it's ever hurt you.
If you're in that group, that whatever group, that small group, medium group, whatever, of the true diehard Good Brothers, they get us all the way. They've been with us the whole ride, and we love them forever. And they do. They go, oh well, they're fucking with them. That's what happens. Okay.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah, we've got a hell of a fan base, dude, and I've just noticed it so much more now, being in this independent wrestling world run that we're in. It's we're seeing fans in airports, we're seeing fans in restaurants, we're seeing fans walking around the UK, walking around Mexico, walking around Disney World. I mean, they're truly everywhere, and it's
certainly haven't forgotten. Yeah,
it's been a real, like, almost like all this. Sometimes it sounds a little cheesy, but all this shit was supposed to happen.
Yep.
Yeah. Absolutely. You mentioned a moment ago about part of the challenge with the seminars and such is you're an active pro wrestler, right? And was that difficult? As a fan, it felt like that was a challenging part of the NXT portion of your run, where it was like, it felt like you were slotted as player coaches, and I think both of you you wanted to play, and it's like, that's tough, right?
Yeah, and you want to go out there no matter what, but I just felt like you can say you were being punished, you were being slighted, they didn't have something for you. And we're not bitter this time around. We're really, truly not. But we got there, and sometimes it was even in that setting, you're going like, and I will say this, we never had a bad experience with anybody there that we worked. And I thought the guys had great attitudes. I thought they tried really hard. But I mean, there'd be weeks when you'd show up and it's like, not even if you have to take the L, but like, this is their 9th match, so be careful out there, that our veteran friends who are now producers are telling us, and we're going like, we got 3 more runs in us. What the
And it's on TV, by the way. It's on TV.
And we're going to teach them on live television, so God forbid something goes awry, and they can't hear us out there to fix it. So, it was weird that way a little bit. But hey, I mean, I don't have anything negative about that, because you can't blame people for the position they're put in. I'm sure there were people when they had to wrestle a 22-year-old freaking deacon in the dark match of Raw in front of 15,000 people, and I'm physically shaking with nerves that go, really? Why the fuck do I have to do that? But they did it. So it is, it's part of the business, and it was just another chapter in the book, I guess.
Well, it was we were overwhelmingly excited about it when we first found out about it, because I look back at the last run at the last WWE thing as just kind of I just believe there was missed opportunity, missed chances, just because there was so much going on, man. Like, Vince got kicked out of the world. Hunter brought us back, and then 3 months later, Vince is back, but they were saying he wasn't back, and whatever. I mean, we don't need to get into all that, but I mean, but like, the company was going through so many things, and then, are we going to sell? We're not going to sell. AJ wanted some time off of TV, and then AJ got hurt, then Gallows got hurt, then Vince got fired for real, then the company got sold, and then who's in charge? All of it, and people, and then in the middle of all this, like, we're trying to just sneak in and trying to figure out ways to, get on television and try to, figure something else. And then AJ's retiring, and then they put us back on TV with him. But then I'm not sure AJ really wanted to do that angle.
Bad guy.
I don't know. I don't know what. And then we get pulled back off of TV again. Then they say, hey, you're going down to NXT. And we're going, what is going on, man? Like, it's just, even just explaining that was kind of the whirlwind that we were in, on top of, we're just trying to figure out where if you want us to go to NXT, we wanted to go there and let's do it full. Great. I wish we could have just found something to just sink our teeth into, because give us the opportunity to go to NXT, but then we would do, just a couple of weeks of something, and then that would be it. And then we'd figure it in, and it just, nothing was ever, it just always felt like a lot of missed opportunity. But I mean, hey, we don't write the show.
I think it's something that, it's corporate America in general, whether you're talking about the wrestling business, entertainment, or NVIDIA. I don't know, but when you get into a situation where a company is that big and there are that many people who are in charge of certain things, then there are this many people underneath who are delegated tasks, and part of their job is to control this populace of workers, and that's essentially what you are. So, there were times when people who we were friends with, I felt like would just tell us something to say something because they felt like they had to, even when we didn't ask. They're maybe next week you guys can do this, and we're going, okay, are we doing that? And then they're texting you a little bit about it, and you're going, all right, well, are we doing that? Do I need to get some different gear? What are we doing? And then you get there and then nothing happens and nothing happens and nothing happens. And it's going like you'd almost rather not hear anything than be told of these 50 ideas that could happen. Because I felt like I was in that bubble I was in when I was 22 or 23. Like at that point in our career, you don't want to be the guy going, well, I got this idea and maybe if I dye my hair, I could come out as a barber or, whatever. And it felt like that. And we're going, is this where we're at right now? It was super weird. Right. But I think that, again, not a negative, but I think there's a lot of miscommunication and extra speech that's kind of unneeded because people feel like they need to fulfill a role and justify the position that they're in. So I better be over here talking to somebody. Well, they're not getting used, but really neither am I in my position. I'm going to go talk to them. It's different.
Yeah. I can imagine it's very confusing. Very confusing.
Yeah.
As a fan, there were a couple things that came from that run that were awesome, right? You guys have talked a lot about the pop in Brooklyn, which was like, I'm sure very validating and very cool. Yep. One match that's become part of LNG folklore is the Machine Gun Carl Anderson getting like nearly 20 minutes with Finn Balor on TV.
Yes.
That was because in your whole first run, you have like maybe 2 singles matches of note, which was obviously frustrating for longtime fans because part of the act together was that you would do things separately, right? And that was really cool. And it's something that we talk about like every week on this platform because
That's
of course
awesome.
we do. It was awesome. But do you have memories of that? I'm sure that was cool, right?
Well, I'll say it was cool because, we had just, that 2020 and 21 was kind of, I don't know how to use the word besides toxic because that was COVID days, right? Like that was insanity, right? And then we were
with disease.
Yeah, we were all in like a world. We were all in a world of like just insanity. But we were really busy then, right? We had a full-time contract with Impact Wrestling. We went to AEW for 9 or 10 months. We did returned back to New Japan Pro Wrestling. They put the title on me with New Japan. I mean, my schedule was insane, right? Then and right when our Impact contract was finishing, like we get a text from Triple H, and it's like, what is this? Like literally, you couldn't time it better. And then we had this awesome talk, and it was like, oh shit, this feels like maybe this is the right time to do it, right? Then our music hits in Brooklyn, and like our fans inside New York, in England, in Los Angeles, in those big brother cities, like. It's just something that I think it just surprises that upper management probably, but not us. And but being able to hear that kind of reaction and have people like Randy Orton text us and say, well, "What a pop, boys!" I mean, that's from it wasn't just Randy; it was like the whole wrestling world, right?
Yeah, bona fide superstar.
So we knew it felt great, right? And then to be able to get a match in Charlotte, North Carolina, just a couple weeks later, that's 2 hours from my hometown, my mom was in the crowd, and it's against one of my best friends, and we had a good match. We had a great match. We even wrestled during the commercial break where the people were going hot during the commercial break, and we come to the back and we get Hunter is standing up and clapping, that's whatever, but that's like a justifiable thing to that world. They like when you are praised.
The standing
They like when you're praised in Gorilla because they don't have to. They won't praise you in Gorilla if they don't feel like it.
They'll look at their phone.
It depends. It depends on what they want to do, and they felt like praising us at that time. I don't know why, but it just was like, okay, this is all feels like it's just kind of clicking a little bit, and then the memories are great, and then it felt like pretty soon after that the rug started to get pulled, and for whatever reason, but. I'm glad that the late night Grin people, the faithful of the late night Grin, love that because it's one of my favorite matches too. And me and Ferg were just, we were just, working on on the Brother Fly through the commercial. And I wish people could see the commercial because even Jamie Noble said, man, y'all did more in the commercial than y'all did on TV. And it's like, and we did a lot on TV. That was when I remember.
Thanks, Young Dragon.
Yeah. Hunter was even saying, we'd like to start making Rhea tonight. And like, that wasn't like, that was one of the first things that Hunter said, and that was when Rhea slammed Gallows and Rhea Ripley did. And, I don't know if people even remember that, but that
went
was
up like a feather, baby.
That was kind of the beginning of her rise,
Yeah, and that was a cool thing you guys were a part of, at least, right? Because a lot of the run you're just floating around. At least, like, you're right. That is the point where the Rhea thing happens, where she starts to ascend, and I think people remember the body slam. I think they do. I hope so, anyway.
Body slams, whatever. It's one of those things that they'll play like when she, I'm aging myself. I was gonna say when they make her DVD.
Well,
about the rise of Rhea. Yeah.
The schedule was still the same then. Like it was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So it felt like we just kind of jumped right back into that crazy road schedule.
Yeah. But that was the end of the road schedule at all.
Right. Yeah. But we hadn't seen some friends that, when you leave companies, sometimes you don't talk to people at all sometimes just because you're busy or whatever. And so, we rolled back into Barclays and we got to see a bunch of people and hug a bunch of people that we hadn't seen in a while that we were, pretty close friends with. And so now we're right back into the fire. And so like there was a lot of, I remember telling people how much different like WWE felt in October of 2022. It just did. I mean, like Hunter, I remember Hunter being in like a leather jacket and like running the shit that he was doing around the ring. And everybody just seemed, and I don't know how to use this word, not saying that they're not happy now. I'm just saying there was just like a weird, genuine like happiness, which kind of shocked us at that.
Everybody felt giddy that the change in the power and all that stuff was happening. And then, it's just
whatever. And then,
corporate wrestling. That's a gimmick when we say it too, but it's what happens.
It produced a very funny Good Brothers era when I think AJ got hurt and you guys were doing like house show main events with insert third babyface versus Gunter and Co. And it was like a touring Good Brothers act on these WWE spot shows.
We were main eventing house shows as the heels. We were the main event dark against the hot baby face who they would keep there to keep the people in. And that was the role.
We would main event with like Drew McIntyre.
Yes.
We would like
we'd come out and save Cody. It was just, but we weren't really on TV at all.
No. Special attraction.
We became the Big Show at the end of his run. That was great.
We felt like I think we are a special attraction, but I think it was when Michael Hayes and those guys looking at us going, fuck these guys,
Road Dogg goes, you guys, well, we do have to admit you guys are great in big markets. And I go, well, doesn't that mean that we're over?
They're big on small markets, dude. They're big on small markets, right?
I mean, do you want us to be over in Little Rock, or would you rather us be over in the Garden? I don't know.
Oh, that's awesome. Tremendous stuff. Okay, I'm going to play a game here, fellas. Now,
Let's do it.
I'm always intrigued by your memories of matches. On the Tokyo tape, there's that moment where I ask you guys who you worked on night one, and you both name opposite people because those are the guys you worked with in the match, right? So next week, we're doing a show. Believe it or not, there have now been 20 Bound for Glory events in history.
Yeah.
Next week, we're going to do a show. We're going to work through a list of the matches and moments from that show. Now, how do you think you guys would fare if I asked you to recall the matches that you had at Bound for Glory? Now, obviously, Big LG has an earlier entry.
So I probably have 3 and he has 2, maybe?
Yes, sir. We're off to a great start, boys. We're off to a great start.
That might
now,
be the best that I do.
Your first match, I have to say, this was an important match. This was at the height of the Aces and Eights angle.
Okay.
There was a big reveal. Do you remember any of this?
I'm not the big reveal because I got revealed on TV.
True. You were not the big reveal.
It's Devon, right?
Yes, sir. Here we go.
It's Nux and Doc under the hoods versus Bubba and Sting.
Yes, which is an insane match, by the way.
An insane match. And that there's such a backstory I don't want to tell you. Give me 5 years.
Yeah.
That was fun, man, because it was like we really got thrown. I go, we're fucking wrestling Sting, and they haven't even taken the hoods off of us yet. And I'd already met, and known Bubba, but like this is my first time around Sting, and like we're just on pay-per-view and we're just wrestling the hell out of the Stinger. And in 2012, Sting was motivated. He was good
Yeah.
to go, man. I mean, I think he stayed motivated the whole time. Like you saw that retirement run he had, but yeah, that was a fun ass match, and I don't know how it ranks with like how people rated it, but I thought it was good.
Yeah. So I was confident that with a little reminder or two, that would come back to you because that's a pretty cool deal right now.
Well, I remember it because I remember Devon and all the funny shit he was saying before he came out for the reveal. That's what made me remember it. But
I will say I'm less confident about the memory of these two Impact matches. We've got 2020 and 2021, fellas.
I have
How
a
we
guess.
feeling here?
I have a guess.
Okay.
Machine Gun can
Excellent.
go first if he has a guess, but I have a guess.
So for the first one in October of 2020,
Yes, sir. Yes,
so
sir.
we showed up in July.
Slammiversary.
October of 20. This is just a guess, but I think it was the North.
The North. That's what I was gonna say.
I wish it was the North. It wasn't. Of
wrong?
course, it was the Fatal 4-Way tag. Of course, it was. Of course, it was a 4-way tag. The
What
North
was
were
the
in
fatal
there, though.
four-way?
The North
was
were
in
in
that
there. Ace Austin and Fulton, Sawyer Fulton, Madman Fulton.
Okay.
And when I saw this may bring a memory back. I guess Saban just worked it so, like, Shelley couldn't make the show or something to that effect, and Saban was a one-man team in this Fatal 4-Way tag.
I kind of weirdly remember that.
Yeah, that was a no crowd.
It feels
match,
like we
right?
all got
Pandemic,
heat on him.
so.
Just why wouldn't
I have no recollection of that at
Tremendous.
all. I
So
think
hold
we
on.
won I believe we won the titles though.
So is
Maybe.
the North the fourth team in the champions going into the match? Then we win the
Yes.
titles.
I think you win the belts in this 2-on-2 match the next month. I think.
Okay.
Oh. Well,
And
see, you
then-
don't remember either.
I don't remember it.
Listen,
It was Impact in 2020, guys. I'm trying my best.
it was
you know?
a COVID era impact. We're piecing.
Well,
it.
I will say this though, COVID era impact, dude. That Slammiversary in July was a
Big
that was
number.
That was a big number.
That was a big number, baby.
Absolutely.
And
It
that was big time because people were watching. I say this and I mean it. I really believe that it made me like a smarter wrestler because instead of rushing or feeling down on yourself because the people aren't popping the way you want them to pop, or they're not giving you what you want them to have, or a lot of times you have a match and you come to the back and go, fuck, they weren't reacting the way I thought they were going to. Well, there was nothing for them. There was no reaction happening. So there was no reason to rush. There was no reason to rush through shit. And you could just take your time and let everything kind of come to it. And I found a peace in it. And I think it helped me slow down and become a better wrestler, as weird as that sounds.
Well, I will say this too. And when he would start saying that, people would look at him with crossed eyes because he was the only person saying it. Because the popular thing to say was how bad it sucked because there was no crowd and you couldn't hear reaction. But then as he continued to say it, I think people went, huh, he's right. I can take my time. I can do this. I can do it. And then all of a sudden it like shifted to like, yeah, this isn't so bad after all. Like it's better than, being in some shitty town where they don't want to get off their hands. Definitely.
How long did you guys do? So Impact with no crowd was like a year, probably, right? Maybe
at least a year. At least
for sure. Yeah.
And then like it went to like, okay, we can have like 60 people or something. It wasn't like they just opened the doors and filled an arena. It was like, we're still in the studio in Nashville and we can have 2 rows of chairs. So it's something. It's a reaction, but it's not like you're just jumping back into TV wrestling. It was still weird, man.
Yeah, it's strange. I'm going to presume 2021 there's no memory there.
It's a
Motor
wash.
City Machine Guns.
So this is actually a crazy match, and in hindsight, I'm sure it was. So
All right,
Chris Bay and Hikuleo. So obviously with Chris Bay, I'm sure there's a different memory, of course. Love to Chris Bay.
Yes,
and this blew my mind. I forgot they were in TNA doing
is
guest
this an
spots.
8-man?
This is a triple threat tag, of course. It is. Finley and Juice Robinson. Finn Juice.
Finn Juice.
Which, if you'd have asked me, like, were they in TNA in 2021? I said no, and I was absolutely watching and reviewing that stuff. So
I do remember we had a fun match with them. One of them was really fun.
Yes.
Yeah, no,
Finley
was a full baby face pre Bullet Club leader.
Yeah, both of them would eventually become. When you guys went back as part of Bullet Club, Juice was in Bullet Club by that point, right?
He started. He joined during the big
that time period.
He joined on our return in Fukuoka, Japan, in 2022 in May.
Boy, did I not know that at all.
Yep. Yeah, of course.
So
Didn't remember that at all. Yeah.
something that you guys, a wrestler you'll definitely have many, many memories of. The great Hiroshi Tanahashi is retiring in just 3 months. And Tanahashi, of course, I remember vividly, it's an old school talking shop story, the famous Gallows needs belt towel of Hiroshi Tanahashi, which always comes to mind. But, you know, I'll often, like, you've made, Machine Gun's made part of his bit 2012 G1 final. That's like the thing.
Of course.
But
yeah.
I think people that actually know and watch know the Tanahashi title match is like, to me, that's your crown jewel as a singles guy.
Badass, yeah.
What are your thoughts on one of the greats retiring here in just a few months?
So let me say this. The 2012 G1, yes, I've turned it into a gimmick. But that day, this was back when the G1 final. This was when the G1 final, you had to do two matches in the same day. Yep. And my first match inside that sold out Ryogoku, my first match was a 11 or 12 minute match sprint with Tanahashi.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't take it easy. Like, we fucking called a lot of shit, and it was awesome. But I'd say the thing that Tanahashi taught me more than anybody was, well, a lot of the guys did, but there was this acceleration to the finish that I learned watching Tanahashi that nobody does better, where he hits a move, he runs at the top rope, and I would hear the people start to go nuts. And I'm like, this is insane the way he draws these people into him, you know. Then he jumps from the frog splash, and the people put they put their knees up, and then boom, he sells over, and the people just go, oh, and then he takes them. He knew how to take them on a roller coaster, man. And I don't think many people know this, but in 2010, I believe, was my first G1, and me versus Tanahashi, he went for the frog splash. I caught him with a gun stun, 1, 2, 3, and there was no problem with, like, there was zero issues with putting me or anybody ever over. I mean, you got one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, also being one of the most unselfish brothers of all time, and a great teacher, a great dude, and like so helpful. That Hiroshima match, like, you know, I can still remember just calling that with him in the hotel the night before. And like, we're both, you know, racking our brains. And I just remember thinking, like, I was trying to think of a bunch of cool shit, but Tanahashi is too. Like, he's trying to think of how to make this as badass as he could. And this is when I was a strong son of a bitch. Like, I yanked him up and I gave him the Splash Mountain.
He's a big bastard too.
I'm telling you, Tanahashi ain't small, bro.
No, he's a big man, big, thick, muscular man.
Yeah. And he always has been. But this is a memory of Tanahashi that I do remember. In 2009 or 10, whatever it was, we were doing an 8-man with Tana. And he was doing his big comeback on me. Bump, 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 bump. He hits the rope. I catch him with a jumping leg lariat, right? And I hear him go, oh, and I knew I caught him with something, right? Anyways, we finished the match. He rolls out. We went to our own, we went directly to our own buses. I went to the babyface, to the heel bus. Tana went to the babyface bus, and we went to the next town. And the next day, just because that's just the way they did it. We got to the show the next day, and Tana came up, thanked me for the match, and then showed me his finger, and they had casted it. It had broken in half because he did it. So when I caught him with the leg lariat, he just put his hand up, and it made his hand go sideways, and he broke his finger. And of course he finished the match. He didn't say anything about it. He wrestled the next day, and he went on and main evented the tour that month. And I mean, just a legend, man, a legend.
Mm-hmm.
That's a friend.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Big OG, any memories of?
Well, those guys, the Japanese professional wrestling culture, I think, bred in our era of wrestling, which I guess, you know, was maybe 10 years ago when you would talk about this stuff, bred some of the toughest men that were left in the history of the business. My opinion of Tanahashi, for me, you know, I showed up later than Machine Gun, obviously, and did the Bullet Club run and all that, but it was just such an honor to be with him, because I always used to, when people would ask me in America who weren't familiar with Japanese wrestling, I would say he's the Japanese Shawn Michaels. And in some ways, he's even more special to that audience, I think, than Shawn was. But the only thing that I've said, and I may have said this to you, Joe, when we were just yakking it up in England, that made me a little sad about the Tanahashi retirement tour right now, is that and I love John Cena. I do. John's always been great to us, and I considered him a friend. I hate that they're running at the same time.
Yeah.
Because, serious wrestling fans know, but I hate that they're having a retirement tour that mirrors each other, because I don't want John's retirement tour to outshine Tanahashi's. And John deserves all his flowers. I just wish that like one was a year apart from the other, so that fans could truly appreciate, like, they're going to make some magic in these last couple of matches. We know it. Whether you're involved in them, you're not involved in them, you're a fan of them, you're not a fan of them. As a wrestling fan, those are going to be magical moments. It's a business built on moments. And you just don't want something because it happened on a WWE stage to outshine the greatness of this legend and, what he means to those people and what he means to wrestling fans and to that, that Japanese wrestling culture. We were talking about with the Mexican wrestling culture earlier, like seeing Negro Casas was really cool. Him seeing him again, me meeting him for the first time. But I feel like, Tanahashi to people in Japan, it's so special. So I just really hope that people can embrace it and appreciate what he is, what he was, and what he continues to give back as he takes on a role, stepping into the office or whatever he's going to do going forward. I know nothing about what he's doing, but I know he'll be an ambassador for Japanese pro wrestling and be great for New Japan, and that's a great thing.
Absolutely. Yes, indeed. Okay, last couple questions from me, and then we're going to turn to the chat because I know there's some stuff that's built up along the last hour. My goodness, almost 100 people in here, folks.
Oh, baby.
Now we're talking.
Here we go. A little Q&A session.
Before we get to that, I was doing some cage match scrolling earlier, looking for some curiosity.
Oh, wow.
And I was aware of this months ago, and this is something that I don't think you guys have ever spoken about, and it fascinates me. Unless I'm mistaken.
Okay.
You guys were the opponents for Cain Velasquez's second and last WWE match.
Crutch.
He does the Brock match. Yeah. He works you guys alongside Humberto Carrillo in Mexico.
No.
And he never wrestles again, unless I'm mistaken.
Am I mistaken? It was him and Rey Mysterio.
It was him and Rey.
In Mexico City.
Cage match, makes mistakes sometimes, fellas. Is what it is. But
and
that's even wilder.
I feel like he was doing something with Humberto at some point, but it was Rey Mysterio and Cain Velasquez versus Good Brothers. I remember they flew Michael Hayes to Mexico City just because Cain was going to have a match. And he goes, well, we knew you guys could take care of him. And I'm thinking, you didn't care if he kicked our faces in.
Yeah.
And he did.
Michael Hayes liked us then, but
so I knew you guys would take care of him, aka if he kicks your face in. I'm
it was it was Rey Mysterio and Cain Velasquez, and again, if it was Humberto, I maybe it could be, but I was almost certain that it was Rey and Cain because it was in. Actually, I feel like it was because it was in that huge arena, dude, and it was with them.
It was in Arena Mexico.
But here's the best part, right? We're walking through Cain. Cain was very nice, bro.
He was a sweetheart of a man, and I have such an opinion on him as a human being. A lot of stuff that's happened, but I thought he was a great guy, and I understand everything about him. I think, except for what he's about to tell you.
And he was trying. I mean, we were trying to help him, obviously, because that's just no matter what people think.
That's our spirit,
No matter what people think, again, like we do want to help. We're trying.
Joe,
to help.
do you just love bringing up me getting knocked out?
So I don't, but I did have a feeling it was going to go that way. I did.
So we taught Cain. We were like, dude, listen, just hit him with a roundhouse kick, right? We were like, all right, great. So
it's good. Whatever.
So, all right, so great. But Gallows will put his hand up. He'll block it, right? Anyways, it was after.
I've been hit by some strong fuckers over the years too. But this is a UFC heavyweight champion.
Couple of things
unprotected head.
Couple of things happened. Bam. Cain is staring at Gallows with the deer in headlights stare. He has no clue what's next.
And Gallows, I knew what was next.
Gallows goes roundhouse, and Cain kicks Gallows with the quickest, hardest roundhouse kick I've ever seen.
I told Cain Velasquez to give me a roundhouse kick, but what he thought I was Vanderlei Silva or whoever the fuck his greatest opponent was, not Luke Gallows, the worker brother from the South, who wants to fucking take a gimmick and roll to the floor.
Dude, Cain
Velasquez thought I was fighting him for the UFC fucking heavyweight title, and I wasn't.
Cain Velasquez karate kick Gallows' head so fast, bro, like just like
Bro.
Spider-Man's leg kicked
I
him.
get
There
to
was
the
no,
floor.
no
I
time.
get to the floor, Joe, and I'm supposed to feed back up at the because Karl's gonna take like the 619 into the splash. So I'm supposed to feed back up for Cain to take care of me. And I remember it was literally like I didn't see Tweety birds, but I could see like stars, but not like when you blink and see stars, like they look like the shape of stars. And I remember thinking, I ain't fucking crawling back up there. And I didn't. I just laid there.
I mean, it happened. So the kick happened so fast, I couldn't see it. Like those fast cartoon kicks.
Yeah.
You know?
Cain Velasquez is lightning in a bottle, baby. He didn't need that gun for whatever accident took place. He could have just kicked that guy's head right off of his fucking shoulders.
Is this the first time you guys have ever spoke on this match? I feel like it's never come up. I could be wrong.
It's like in the Good Brother Vault. There's a lot of funny stuff that's kind of forgotten. But they did. They called on us to do it, and I just remember Michael going, "Well, I knew you guys could take care of him." And I remember Wes kind of going,
"Yeah,
well, he doesn't care if Cain kills us." Ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
And then we get out there, and I go, "Oh no."
Fuck,
I don't think we've
roundhouse me.
Yeah, I don't think we've talked about it publicly. I think we talked about it with just each other a couple times.
A lot.
I'm sure.
It's a funny story in the Good Brother lore, though. Like, how the fuck did that happen? But it did. So,
speaking of some Good Brother lore, let's get to the chat here. Andrew the Giant has been a member for 13 months and says, was deep diving the Big LG's pay-per-view matches, starting with, of course, Imposter Cain versus Cain. I had no idea of the result. I was popping huge. In 2025, the Big LG won. What an outcome that was. What a result.
Just a massive victory. Just a massive victory. Dude, I'm 22 years old.
That's insane. Yeah.
And
people still bring it up to you a lot. That whole
deal. Well, they bring that up and then they walk up and they go, "Were you embarrassed you were Festus?" I mean, like, what do you want me to say?
Yeah.
I mean, not really. It was,
he was on TV, dude.
Have a run, but yeah, they bring it up. But then what I did win, and I think that clearly, blatantly, the reason that they don't remember that I win is because I get fucking murdered the following night on Raw. It's like I think I take 3 choke slams in the ring, choke slam on the ramp, rip my wig off, and throw me through the door. Yeah. And then as soon as they cut, they're like, "Don't worry, we're going to bring you right back." And I was like, I don't know a lot yet, but it doesn't feel like I'm coming right back.
What a pointless lie that is, dude, right?
It's just, like I said earlier, people were delegated to say things. And I don't remember who said it, but someone said, "Go tell that kid it's fine." Hey, it's fine. But when I look back on it, though, I when I was younger, I went, "Well, what the fuck? That was fucked up." But I mean, that whole thing was just to promote the horror movie.
Yeah.
Casino Evil's coming out, and they bring the character back, and obviously the fake Kane's not. The fake Undertaker wasn't fucking cool either, guys. If you remember, it was just 12 years before. So.
Yes, indeed, absolutely. Huge thank you to Grin, new member. Appreciate you. Now, I know this is a treasured member of the Falcons Nest. Have you guys ever got any closer with the pronunciation of Drew's surname? Have you got any closer with it?
We love Drew, and we appreciate him. We just have no clue how to say his last name.
Drew Slava Kapowski.
Drew, see, I'm confident that's not it.
Drew Slakowski.
Yes, well, either way, welcome.
Drew Walter, the Killer Kowalski.
Welcome, Drew.
Hey, Drew.
Young Blink, member 13 months. I love this business. Indeed. We can just see Nakanishi. That's like a gif, a meme, if you will, of Nakanishi pumping his fist. For us, it just says Nakanishi.
Of course.
Novi, member for 13 months, member of the famed LNG roster. I was telling the lads when we were together, I said, yeah, the roster's about 30 deep. He's one of our starting lineup here. He says,
"What's up, Novi?"
Indeed. Hey, Novi. Faf, I actually called them the Great Brothers. So this was very funny. This was a bit online from our very own Bob O'Neill for time. And then when you were gearing up for free agency, you guys started doing the Great Brothers bit, and we were like, "Oh, this is tremendous. We can do a lot with this."
I don't even recall that,
man.
Dude, I'm telling you, that was funny.
You guys, coming, especially the how to put this, the certain independent spots with fan bases that feel very strongly about you guys.
Yeah.
You guys being in those spots with the name The Great Brothers is fucking incredible.
Sounds like a return.
If you love us, you love us. You hate us, buddy.
Yeah. Thank you, Fab.
The Great Brothers are here. Fuck them.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you for remembering the Great Brothers. I like that.
Thank you,
Indeed.
Indeed.
Blessed Pancake, member 7 months, won LNG match. See, people are just very happy to see. There's not many questions, really. It's just people just triumphant, really.
A flaccid
late night Grin
pancake
moment.
wouldn't be happy if they're a flaccid pancake.
Indeed. Frank, member for 12 months. I'm looking forward to the new 3-man variation of the Magic Killer. That would go very poorly for all involved. I can tell you that.
No. Joe's going to hold the feet too. That'd be awesome.
Right, here we go. LNG founding father confirms shoot asks. He says, "Hello, Karl. Could you please explain to our friend Joseph the pain we are suffering through with Joe Burrow? Sad who day."
Oh, dang.
Yeah, I think, listen, I've been a Bengals fan since when I was a kid. I liked Boomer Esiason and Nicky Woods. But when I moved to Cincinnati to be a professional wrestler, I've just fell in love with the Bengals because they were on my TV every weekend. And I've been through a lot of it. It's just, this is going to be one of those years that you just kind of, just watch and you figure out who's going to be good for next year. Because this year you're just trying to see now, like, let's keep, everybody safe. Winning it probably ain't going to happen very often. But you never know, too. Everyone is expecting us to lose every game. Now,
were you explaining our NXT run, or were you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. They expect they're expecting us to lose, so
we
win.
You're not expecting a lot of wins.
Yeah.
This is when the football talk starts on this platform, because most of our roster are American brothers, and it's not the football talk. I just go, fellas.
Yeah, guys, I'm out of here.
I love it.
Indeed. One of my favorite. I remember you telling the story about you were like baffled when Angelo Dawkins watched the draft, which was one of the most, you were like, he watched the draft. And he was like, yeah, man, a lot of people do that, right? Like,
what? What?
Yeah. Dude, I mean, like, not just watched it, like, he had a party,
Yeah, but I mean, he has real emotion when it comes to
he has real emotions.
He gets pissed off, he gets sad, he gets really happy.
Well, when there was a lot of reasons why I knew we didn't fit into WWE this last time.
Oh boy, we're going down a rabbit hole here, aren't we, pal?
But for example, like when, just say one of Angelo Dawkins' teams would lose over the weekend. Well, like the cameraman would put like the team that he doesn't like up on the big Titantron screen right before the show.
And he would sell.
And like they're all like laughing at him. And I'm just thinking, man, there's just so much more stuff that could be getting done here. Like, thinking of something for the Good Brothers. I mean,
when's our next title run? I care about this.
Just anything. But I just was like, man, this isn't I'm not into that anymore. That kind of humor and whatever.
Yeah.
Like, let's talk about wrestling or the business.
When you're immersed in wrestling, you're not sitting there thinking about that.
Yeah.
Like last year I got into deer hunting and I forgot it was deer hunting season this year because we're wrestling all the time and it's all I'm thinking about. Last year I had nothing to think about,
Yeah.
Absolutely. Tremendous, strong analysis there. What's on the football front? I have no idea what you're talking about, but it sounded strong. It sounded very strong. Jumanji Hunt has been a member for 13 months, taking a break from Severance binge to watch this. Wrestling is boring. So, see, this is one thing and I kind of warned you guys about this. The late night Grin community, they love pro wrestling.
Sure.
They don't necessarily watch it closely, which I think you guys quickly realized I'm a culprit of. That's part. Loving wrestling doesn't mean watching everything, right? It's just you love pro wrestling.
No. It just means you love it as a whole.
Exactly. Yes. No. What is Severance? Is that something on Netflix or?
That's a very popular TV show. It's on Netflix, but it's very popular. There's been a lot of comparisons to the McMahon family with that. Something to look into.
Oh boy. Well, that makes me want to watch it.
Yeah. Ryan has been a member for 12 months. He says, shit, 1 year. So glad I can celebrate watching the Great Brothers and their long.
Congratulations, Ryan. Happy anniversary, buddy.
Excellent. Brainbuster, again, one of our own. There's no questions here, really.
Brainbuster. Good.
Okay, here we go. Brainbuster's a member of our squad here. He says, what's up, fellas? Do either of you have a favorite action figure of all time? Now, I've heard the big man talk action figures with Cardona and Myers before. I'm intrigued on this. Any immediate answer, lads?
My first action figure that just made me go nuts was because I discovered wrestling and immediately fell in love with it. So that Easter, like 1992, I got like the Hulk Hogan with the full bandana and he's like doing this deal and you could pull his arm up and drop it. And then I got Sergeant Slaughter. I mean, I must have just whacked the paint off the hat. He took 17,000 hammer fists from the Hulkster just because it was the first one I ever had. I just thought it was unbelievable that it was real. And then I got the ring with the belt. The belt had a podium. So that one to me always has stood out. But this house is a wrestling figure culture in it because when my son was born, I was so young in WWE. I then I have this baby. I'm like, oh, a baby me. This is cool. And this is how I can still express that I'm a fan of wrestling, because I can't do it at work. So he was forced to be a wrestling figure collector. I would just go and buy everything at KB's or everything at Walmart, everything on Ringside Collectibles every year. I'd send them our list, and then we get the giant shipment to the house. And I mean, there are thousands of loose, highly valued collectible wrestling figures on the third floor of this house. Probably have their heads ripped off, their arms ripped off. They've been lit on fire and colored with markers and everything else. But I mean, the collection is so vast. Like Hawkins almost cried. Myers, when he went up there, he goes, bro, this is a sin what you guys are doing up here. And I'm like, he grew out of it, and like, I don't have time to sit and put these fucking things back together. I don't know. I mean, they're here. But yeah, I've always loved them and thought they were cool. That's all.
Yeah, same. I mean, I had all the big rubber dolls when I was a kid. I loved all of them, and I had the Hasbros. I still have them. I still have them in here. I don't pull them out. I've got.
Oh, you got a cool wall back there, though.
I've got Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper up here beside the three of my figures from WWE sitting there. But I mean, I do like having this Bray one and Luke Harper one. I just do. They were
That's the
brothers.
prototype.
Wow.
First ever Festus.
The physique on that, bro. Wow.
Well, you know, the problem with the physique is they didn't make me lean enough. But the green head, that's the unpainted first ever Festus. Yeah. And that's just
So speaking of Hawkins, Myers, and Cardona, when are we bullying the lads into these, again, some big rubber guys, fellas? I mean, what are we doing?
You know what? We're kind of boycotting them right now.
Oh,
I haven't said it publicly, but we're not on good terms, even though we talk every day. Just publicly, we're not. Yeah, we don't want to be in the big rubber guy line.
And we don't want it.
We're going to come out with our own figure line. We're going to take down their company.
Strong.
The big softy guys. You're going to be able to stretch them out like Stretch Armstrong. It's going to be awesome.
You imagine the headline tomorrow? We don't talk to those guys anymore.
I need that.
Yeah. Well, just
good brothers hate Myers and Cardona.
Well, we're going to do like Broski did in 2020, where he just tweeted, "Hawkins and I will not team together anymore." And we were like, "What is that all about?"
Yeah.
He was like,
I
just want it to be known."
We're gonna do like Broski and Myers did when we did Boozing with the Boys, and then they go, "Hey, just so you know, we stole your gimmick, we do boozing with the toys now, but we're more consistent with it, so ours is better." And I go, "Oh, cool, thanks."
I love that your impression changes every time. Every time. It's
that was them together.
Oh, it's like combo. Okay, tremendous stuff.
I love those.
They're the best. Guys. They're the
I'm
best.
I'm glad they stole all of our ideas and made them very successful.
I'm glad they stole all of our ideas and then stayed consistent with them, so they succeeded with our ideas. That's good. We didn't do that.
I mean, Hawkins is only in TNA because we got him a contract. Now he's the only one there still.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but he's the one still there.
Hashtag clickbait.
Up next here and now.
Yeah, the team sheets are going to be really fucking raging on that one.
Lord Lambo.
Oh, look at hashtag apples and cocks.
This was so when we was before we announced the Tokyo tape, our only way from it was I told the guys to have like a clip of Machine Gun's interview that made no sense without any context, and that was the one we had, the apples and cocks. That became like our promotional vehicle. That was very fun.
He's been saying that for years, and it's never not funny, and it's never not accurate.
Yeah, I felt like that was one of the most accurate things one of my most accurate assessments of
that's when I knew he was a true analyst and broadcast journalist. When he said New Japan and WWE are like apples.
That's the thing. Like, look at all the guys that review wrestling, that review what a match was good, what match wasn't good. Look at it. Wait until we get into the space. I mean, holy moly.
Are any of them having 17, 18 matches a month currently in front of real good crowds? No,
brother, me softly, bro.
Brother, me softly, my God.
Thank
Gallows Beard Care me at DocGallowsBeardCare.com. Jesus.
Excellent plug. Very good.
Thanks, Joe.
Tyler Haas here. Remember 6 months. Have the Good Brothers seen Kobashi versus Joe, the famed Ring of Honor?
Yes, that popped up again because I think it was an anniversary, and I probably haven't seen the whole thing since I was 19 or something. But I did sit and watch the 3-minute clip on whatever social media thing it was, because it is awesome, and that's one of those things where it's cool to see like Kobashi in that setting too, and just that stuff's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it may have been today, right? 20. It may have been 20 years ago today. I think maybe I can't remember. I'm not sure, but yes,
know
Machine Gun.
that.
What was you saying? Sorry.
No, yeah, no, I saw it. This I was living at Rocky Romero's house, and he had DVDs. He would get the DVDs shipped to him. Like this was back in the DVD
Yeah.
days,
Yeah.
and I would just put it in the DVD player and watch it. And dude, I mean, I was just an independent guy, and I had not wrestled in front of a crowd like that at that time, dude. And seeing Joe and Kobashi in that setting,
Years ago.
it was like, what? This is unreal.
Yeah.
And like,
It's
that was
badass.
Joe. That was Joe 20 years ago. And the funny thing is Joe can still do that. And
Dude,
Yeah.
we weren't going to review AEW, but I was going to say like the show was good. It was fine. And we saw, I watched a couple hours of it or an hour and a half of it. But one of the most believable things on the entire show was like Joe getting in there and getting nasty and being aggressive and shit. And it, like you still feel him through the camera. I saw him in the airport last week, and he's Joe with a big smile on his face. But when he gets in there and he turns it up, you're like, that's a bad mofo right there. Like, yeah. I love that. We feel like that about ourselves. Still got it, baby.
And what's cool is, right, like now, if he wrestles younger guys, not to say he's Kobashi, but he's a legend now,
He's in
right?
that role, man. Yeah, that's
yeah.
very cool. Yeah,
no,
100%.
exactly, 100%, especially to American indie independent fans, right? Like they won't know who Kobashi is. Like the new fans now, they'll know Joe from 15 years ago, and then seeing Joe doing this now is cool.
The rise of Joe and then the staying power of Joe. It's good shit.
Yeah, I mean, I said it to you guys when we were together, but it's like he's one of the guys I'm more than happy to say I'm truly a mark for, because there's a mystique to Joe still, right? He's very,
100%.
very special.
100%.
Very, very special piece of history, no doubt. Karl has been a member for 13 months. Says, how do the Good Brothers, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, have any opinions on one EO Sky? There you go, fellas. Modern wrestling conversation here. What do you think?
I'm glad she's gotten her due, and she's
good, man.
That she's gotten over, and the way she's gotten over. She has cool music. She has a cool entrance. She looks cool. She's obviously great. They bring them up. They bring the Japanese girls up differently there, man. Like in Japan, the training is really, 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 really good. And you got to really, really, really want to be a professional wrestler to make it in Japanese women's professional wrestling or in Japanese pro wrestling in general to get through those dojos. You got to truly love what you're doing. And she does. And, to be on the big stage, because not a ton of Japanese girls or talent in that sense really have had the opportunity in WWE. No. I mean, we can name 5 or 6 or 7. I mean, but there's so many that that have not had the opportunity to. So for her to be able to do it and get there, it's really cool because man,
it's amazing to think about because Joe, I was having fun talking to you in the hotel about this. So think about it. Who's the top 5 Japanese female professional wrestlers in WWE history?
Yeah, I mean, I think the only person above her is Asuka, right? Just on tenure.
Asuka, and then for someone in my age group, like you put Bull Nakano up there because her mystique was unreal.
Yes,
I'd put her like as a Samoa Joe when I was a kid because you just believe she could kick the living 100%. Shit out of you. And I remember meeting her in a Japanese speakeasy years later and going, "That's Bull Nakano." Like when I was a kid, I thought she was gonna fucking eat me for dinner.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's cool. It's cool to. I mean, honestly, if you look in the modern era, Asuka and Io have been able to achieve a level of success I don't think anyone's been able to achieve on the male side. I mean, Shinsuke's had a run, but obviously his creative has been here, there, and everywhere. Right?
He's on a roller coaster. But for Japanese females, like when you think about who's memorable, obviously Asuka, obviously Io.
Yep.
Obviously Bull Nakano, but then like when you go back further than that, like where you go in the Japanese Bomb Angels, like it's far back, man. It is.
Yeah, it's interesting, and I think right now it seems like, again, I'm often on the outside looking in, but it seems like the Io and Asuka stuff is the hottest stuff on the show, which is not a surprise to me. So
I don't know that 100% because we're not all the way up on what's going on the show, but good for them because we're fans of both. That's cool.
Absolutely. And Golo Kante, member 4 months. Hi, good brothers. How was working with Kenny Omega?
Well, Kenny, dude, I've known Kenny since 2008, 9, 10 when he was in Japan with, I believe it was DDT then, right? Yeah. And he would him and Ibushi would come do the tag leagues, the junior tag leagues then, and he was obviously great. And I remember 2013, before me and Gallows' match at the Tokyo Dome, I was like, I heard a couple of pops going on in the match. I said, "Oh, that's got to be Kenny ahead of us because there's some serious pops going on." And
Serious
it was,
poppage.
yeah. It's just Kenny knows how to. That was then he knew how to make those. He knew how to, structure his matches to get those reactions. And Kenny and the Good Brothers are very like different people, and you would probably say they're very different. How do they get along? And it's like, dude,
marvelously.
what's really funny is we do, and we're brothers, and we are friends, and we can, and we, he was the reason why we, ended up coming to AEW. Like it was a Kenny request that
it was, nobody knows that either.
Kind of going through, and because he was the one, I think, the quickest to kind of get over the bullshit that all went down in 2019. And so, he's a brother for life, and he's obviously one of the greatest of all time.
I remember Kenny Omega getting in the ring in Deep South Wrestling when they didn't understand him and he didn't understand them, with a broom and a mop and sweeping during the promo class and saying that he was the cleaner. And then all those years later, seeing all the success that he had, and then, getting to reunite with him years later, and then watching the real rise of Kenny Omega and the iconic superstar that he's become. He was on that show that I watched tonight because I thought we were reviewing, and he was, again, a huge bright spot to it. He looks great out there. Nobody can keep up with him to this day. It's awesome. Kenny's the man.
Absolutely. Andrew, member for 12 months. What was it like working with Okada compared to Tanahashi? Great question. Excellent.
Well, it was Okada. I was wrestling Okada when he was, he would have been 20 years old in 2008 when he was making the food in the dojo, right? He was just the young boy in the dojo.
So he's a young boy when you're there. That's great.
Yeah. And then he came back in 2000, and I believe it was the beginning of 2012. Was that what it was? And the whole push there. And he's great. He's good. It's just it's watching two generations. It was the generation of Tanahashi. That was his company when I got there, and then it became Okada's company. After, but Tanahashi wasn't relinquishing it. He wanted to keep a stranglehold on it because these brothers are competitive, and he didn't give it away. He didn't give it to Okada. He made Okada earn it, man. And then you got to remember Kenny Omega was sliding in there and wanting to take over the whole thing, and that was real competition that led to some really, really great New Japan
badass matches.
That crop of talent, that main event scene, and beyond that whole roster, that was a special time. That New Japan squad, and you guys obviously were part of that. Like,
it was wild.
It was magic. It was magic, definitely.
It was, man. It turned business around then, right around 2013, 14, 15 was fucking hot, man.
And because last week we recorded like a 2015 draft, and I was researching. New Japan World launched like just as you guys got that US pay-per-view. So people were, if they loved the pay-per-view, they could dive the whole way in and watch New Beginning, New Japan Cup. Yeah. Special, definitely. Heel Emerson, I believe another beloved member of the family.
Oh, the great Heel Emerson. Hey, buddy.
Drew doesn't even know how to say his own last name. Love you, boys. Let's talk about current WWE ticket prices. There's some clickbait for you. What do you make of that? Expensive, I hear.
He's been wanting to talk about this. I've talked about it a little bit. I think that this is the positive end of it. What it's done is make independent wrestling and wrestling around the world outside of the corporate wrestling scene even hotter, because once you outprice the normal blue collar fan or family man who's got 1, 2, 3, 4 kids, and he realizes that he can't spend $10,000 or $15,000 to go see this WWE event, but there's great wrestling in all these other pockets and places where you can go, it actually makes the business thrive. When you read into the business, and like, I'm a stockholder, so I read all the shit and everything else, like TKO's position is, this is the UFC model. This is how we do UFC, and this is how we're going to price it. I just was surprised because I thought wrestling was too blue collar to move in that direction, to where, CEOs and business people were going to pay thousands and thousands of dollars to be seen at a wrestling event. That's no disrespect to wrestling fans. I am one, and I sat there. I just didn't see that happening. So I just wonder in the long run, like, what's the sustainability? Because if you look at the analytics and the ratings and the television and stuff, it's hard to get an accurate television rating now anyway, because of the way people consume it. I think like a lot of people are like my son and they see most of it and follow it through social media. So maybe the television rating or whatever you're reading isn't necessarily accurate, but it'll be interesting in the long run to see if it's sustainable to keep these ticket prices so high, because like Emerson sent me a screenshot, and I think for a 2-night event that wasn't a pay-per-view thing, it was like to get on the floor was like $9,000 American. And then I think SummerSlam for a front row ticket was like $40,000. And then you look at like, you're going to Saudi Arabia for WrestleMania 27. And, you know, we have been privy to some of the numbers when they were first bringing a Saudi house show. And I have no clue what they paid for WrestleMania, but it's got to creep toward the B number. And, you know, you're outpricing a lot of fans, but as a business, if you don't care about that, that's one thing I think Vince did, was like, he tried to take care of the troops. He tried to take care of the guy who had 3 or 4 kids. He tried to take care of the blue collar people because he knew that was what built the fan base. Like, I've said it for years, and I think maybe I'm wrong now, but like wrestling, like NASCAR, country music, like they all kind of fell into that same type of environment. And maybe it is different. Maybe with the crossover appeal now, it's outgrown it. I just wonder if it's sustainable for pro wrestling to be able to keep, you know, because Emerson sent me the entire list, and it was interesting to look at, because even to sit in the nosebleeds is close to $1,000. If you got a couple of kids and your wife and they want t-shirts and you're going to have a beer and you're going to get everybody a hot dog, like some of these people that are average Americans are going to take out a second mortgage to do that. So I don't know. It's interesting. Study on business in itself, right?
Yeah. I don't know enough. He sent that to me, and I read it and I was like, I don't even know how to comment on it, just because I just don't know. And I didn't do enough research on it, because I saw what he sent, but I don't know the truth on those numbers. Not that he sent me a fake thing. I just don't want to go on based on what was sent. I just don't know. I mean, because it feels like I've watched business be down a little bit. We've been there when house shows haven't been sold out at all. Sure. We've been there when the shows have been sold out. So I mean, I just feel like it was if the numbers start to dip, they'll lower the prices a little bit, but they'll fill that son of a bitch up somehow. Like, these people are, I don't know. I don't have enough on it to
I worked there back in the day when business was down. It was $15 to sit in the nosebleeds. It went to 20. It was a free ticket for the troops, whatever. So I always kind of was like aware of what that was, but now when you hear those numbers, I feel the same way. Like, I don't 100% know. I've not bought a ticket, but I will say this. Like 9 out of 10 of the last independent events we've done in the United States, at least 2 people have bitched about, we can't even go to WWE anymore. You can't fucking afford it. And they'll say, well, it was this much and we sat here, whatever the number was. What was this much to sit here? And then so many people were going, oh, well, like, I can't even afford to sit here. And then when you look at it, like, cause you know, I've promoted wrestling forever and dabbled in that. And I know like what our little market down here, and I look at what the median income is. But then you look at some of these better independent shows we're doing, and a lot of these things, it's $80-$90 to sit in the front row at an independent show now. Now, I know they have to pay us and they have to pay some higher level guys, but you're not looking at like a card that's full of these massive, massive paydays. But because WWE ticket prices are so high, they're able to get it and they fill the building. So essentially it is better for business. You just wonder about the sustainability. It's weird. And I watch too much Bloomberg News, you know.
Just come by. Listen. If the tickets are $60, you come get a Good Brother hat for $30. It's half the ticket.
Yeah, it's no problem. Whatever you do, bring some merch money for the boys.
Yeah. It was just wonderful when we were at the Rev Pro show. You know, you guys had your match for intermission. I just saw just a beeline, boom, straight to the gimmick table. I said, they've still got it, brother. They're at their best.
It'll never end until the wheels fall off, baby.
That's what it's all about, though, man. That's fucking awesome. It's I think.
You know what, though? Those people, they know that they're going to walk up and buy something, or they're not. But yeah, that's part of the experience. They walk up, we're standing there all sweaty. I signed the 8x10 and sweat all over the damn thing, and it's a memory for me and them. It's fun. It's great. Come buy one.
Indeed. Our guy Manny, another member of the roster. It's a great pleasure to have you on our channel. Hopefully you can take over the dojo. The dojo, we're always getting young, new talent on this channel. I don't know if that would be a gig for you guys. This seminar stuff.
We'll be in charge of the young boys on the channel. That's great.
There you go. There you go.
I like
Riley has been a member for 13 months. Good brothers. I see you all in my town 2 weeks from now. Can't wait to see you. That's awesome. Do you guys have any good Fit Finley stories? Great question. Great question.
I have a fun, really simple one. Fit was like a big influence on my early career, and Straight Edge Society time. I think maybe Punk was hurt. We're doing like a 2-week European tour, and the card got changed a few times. So it is heel Luke Gallows, Sin Free Soldier versus Fit Finley, somewhere in the middle of the card. And Fit would love to fuck with you in situations like that. So he's like, really be aggressive out there. When you get me down in that hold, really grind on me, really, really show the people that you're really digging in, so I can get some real sympathy before my comeback. And I said, oh yes, sir. I'll do it. And I remember like the way it was weird, the way he like sold and there was no way to really grab a hold. And I grabbed him in this like waist lock, but he was seated and I'm kind of like on my knees and I'm doing this and I'm doing this. And I'm making these faces and the people started to laugh and laugh. And I'm going, so I start doing it more. And then I realized that he was laying like this and he was petting his head, blowing me kisses. I was squeezing the fuck out of him. So that was a fun Fit Finley story. He took me in Mexico City. He goes, Drew, you like cowboy boots, right? I go, I love cowboy boots. He goes, okay. I got the cheapest place to buy cowboy boots in Mexico City. So we went and bought cowboy boots and he took all the girls with him too. And they bought all these like, fake Louis Vuitton shoes, all this shit. I bought these Stingray boots and we got back and he was so good at it. He goes, show the guys your new Stingray boots, man. It's the coolest pair of boots you've ever had. Because I used to wear the cowboy boots like all the boys did. It's like, holy shit, I got these black Stingrays and I open there's one boot in there. He goes, I told you got to watch your ass. They're con artists. Oh, these motherfuckers, I'm going back down there. So I get in the cab. And he comes running up and he handed me the other cowboy boot. It was just a big rip. He was the best. There's always shit like that with him. He was a lot of fun to be on the road with.
Amazing in that run too. He's like 50 plus and he's fucking incredible in that.
I remember
run.
Vince saying, I like that he's got a bit of age on him. And if you watch him that run, he's better than everybody. He's better than every heel on the roster and he doesn't bump for a comeback. He just sells around in circles and takes the next thing. It's awesome.
Tremendous.
He's great. He was one of the few that always had our back and was out looking out for us and just would help when we needed.
He was always too, I think in that role, people get where they want to be honest with you and they may like you, they may not like you, but they can't be honest with you because of the system. But he would go like, here's what really happened. And there weren't a lot of people who would do that. Yeah. So I've always respected that element of Fit Finley for sure.
We're going long here because I was not prepared for so many questions from the chat. But the thing is, and this is what's great about talking shop and when you guys talk pro wrestling in any form, you guys have been around almost everyone in some form or fashion, right? You can ask a Fit Finley question and a Kenny Omega question, and there's a great story for both. And that's so awesome, right? That's what wrestling's all about. It's tremendous.
It is.
We got to see them all, baby.
We've been blessed, man.
We have.
It's awesome. Grant, member 13 months. All how Joe Burton, the Great Brothers, I should say.
There we go.
I saw it. But it was cool that AJ did the beat up John Cena bit on Monday. I did not see that. Did you guys see that? He did the beat up John Cena.
No, we didn't see it. We always see everything on Twitter after. And
yes.
It was like when he said our names like on a commercial or something. And we go, we didn't know that.
That was weird.
Yeah, it was weird. And then he did the beat up John Cena thing. And I go, oh, good.
Yeah,
it only took 9 years for them to allow that to creep back on the television.
It just keeps us alive for a little bit longer. If he goes and retires and floats off into whatever he floats off into, at least we're just keeping us alive right now.
Hey, you know what? It's the never-ending story, like the classic movie. It's a story that never had an end.
Yeah,
true.
There's been no club ending.
There's no club closure, baby. I guess it just lasts forever.
There's been no closure, man. So it's always
as a fan, I think the funniest part of the inconsistencies of the OC run this last one was when, like, on a whim, it'd be like Meechin is back in the group. Like, poor Meechin had no consistency.
Back in the group. Like, well, she wasn't in there for 3 weeks. Well, she's back with you guys now. Well, who said that? I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Colt has been a member for 13 months. Says, fellas, since TKO sold Mania to the Saudis, any chance of a Talking Shopper Mania taking its place here in this? That would be a spectacular bit, like branding it that way too. We're taking their place.
Folks. If you don't think we're gonna do something on our own that weekend, then you don't know the insanity in the heart of the Good Brothers.
Yeah, I don't think people understand yet still, especially our people, our fans, that no one owns us right now. Like even in the COVID days, I had to answer to Scott Demore still too. Like I was still on the cell half the time. Sorry, Scott. I was sorry about that, Scott.
There's no one who can tell us shit.
We're so free now. It's
so little dangerous for us.
Weird. Yeah.
That will be an interesting journey. I'm sure that will be.
Well, Joe, you're going to be the mean gene, so you better buckle up, Huckleberry.
I'm in the middle of it for better or worse. Matt has been a member
for Joe.
Yeah, member 1 month. Hey, good brothers, big fan. Any wrestlers you think are better than the fans give them credit for? People who are great from a wrestler's perspective. Bits genuinely. One of them is on screen right now. If we're being real, like Gallows absolutely fits that description. Genuine. I'll say that because, like, dude. Everyone, like, people have their opinions. We all have our opinions. Wrestlers swear by your work, so I think it's worth. I'll do that for you. I'll name you on that one for sure.
I appreciate it.
Yes, but you guys, any answers?
People don't love big guys, and I don't do any flips, but I think I'm safe.
Not yet. Not yet.
I try to be that element, and then I put him over undyingly, and I stood next to. I was a heater for the greatest that ever lived. I really was. Some of the best in the business. I've been in all those factions, but I can honestly say I've stood on the apron and watched him do shit and go, he's the best professional wrestler alive. And I've seen them all. And I've seen them all up close.
Yeah.
And when I was waiting to do the next spot with him, and I'm telling you that you don't match the machine gun. I appreciate that I have the association with him. I think I'm pretty okay at it, and I love doing it. So thanks, Joe.
That was nice, wasn't it? Well, that nice. Okay, let's name some wrestlers. What do you think, fellas?
Yeah, that is true though. With Gallows as well, dude. Kojima, I've had Kojima and Tenzan too. Love us or hate us, you definitely. I know those fans respect Tenzan and Kojima, right? Like that's a guarantee.
Yep.
Like I had both of those guys pull me aside and told me how great Gallows was and how happy they were to work with him and how much they loved working with, how good he was. If I have to quickly think about it now, like I'm kind of thrown off. I could use a couple of names of who out there, who I think's better, who I think doesn't get enough credit. Like if I'm telling you, I would have pushed Shelton Benjamin a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like he was wasted a lot in his last 5 years in WWE, whatever.
It feels like he's just getting like celebrated. It feels like
the
fans are appreciating him,
and he should be. I'll say one, and he had a hell of a run, but he didn't have, and he was great at being a heel. So it's not like he ever looked forward or would care about this. But I think he needed more credit as a worker than he ever got. Like I thought JBL was an amazing in-ring wrestling heel. You don't have to like him in real life. But as far as the in-ring work and being a bad guy and making you go, fuck, and being believable, highly, highly underrated. And I know he had the world title and all that stuff, but like, there was another player in those Eddie Guerrero matches. And he was the match, and he was a great antagonist, and he was a great bully, and you believe that he was kicking the shit out of him because we all know how great Eddie was. But I think that you got to have somebody to play off of.
Yeah. The word bully is perfect. So like there's a match, it's a couple years after the Eddie, because he has the Eddie match. He has the famous Cena bloodbath.
Yes.
But the match that people forget is there's a Ray match where like Ray gets color under the mask. And JBL is such a
it's ripped and he's bleeding and you're just like, dude, stop. What are you doing? Yeah. Even we're in the business working, and when you get that lost in it, it's really good.
That's a great answer, I think. Absolutely. Drew is back. He says, meanwhile, I'm recycling cans and bottles to do a podcast. He's on the grind, dude. I see a lot of new episodes consistently.
He's the best.
Yeah.
He's the man, baby.
Thank you, Drew. And last one from the chat.
Thanks, Drew.
Wind down after this and do some plugs. Modest King, member for 8 months. Hey, good brothers and Joe, I have a question for the big LG. Working as Festus with Ray Gordy made me think, were you a fan of Terry Gordy growing up?
So I was I got into wrestling, when I was like 8. So I didn't know Terry Gordy because I know it sounds weird, but I'm on the young side for that. So I didn't know who Terry Gordy was until I get into my teenage years. At that time, like it's the dawn of the DVDs, but if you want the old shit, you're still on the tape trading scene. Like I would go to these indie shows when I'm 15, 16, and I'd buy these Japanese tapes and shit. And I saw Terry Gordy And I saw Bruiser Brody, and I was like, if I could ever even get close to being like them, because I know I'm going to be a big kid. My dad was bigger than both of them. I will be doing good. And I was a massive fan of Terry Gordy. And I understood what the Freebirds were, but like watching him in Japan with Dr. Death. And then when like he comes to WCW in the early 90s, that time period we were talking about earlier, fuck, he was excellent, man.
Yeah.
And he wasn't, I like the big Jack guys, but I could tell he was better than Dr. Death because he was just smoother and he could move and shit. I was a big fan of him. What I always felt bad about was when we would meet like old school fans, and because I know it pissed Ray off a little bit, and I felt bad about it. You know, Ray was a stacked, jacked little guy, and he never got the credit for the worker he was either because of the character that he was pinned in. But I mean, he went to Pro Wrestling Noah, and he could fucking do 85 suplexes, and he was a great little worker. But they told him to act like Marty Jannetty and be a country bumpkin and be Jesse to the Festus or whatever. But we'd be at a restaurant or something, and these fans would come and go, "Man, I'm a big fan of your dad," and they'd look at me, and I go, I'm not Terry's son, he is. And they go, "Oh, there's no fucking way. Look how little he is." Because Ray was 5'9" or whatever, and I'm 6'6", and Terry was a big 6'4", 6'5" guy. So they would always think that I was Terry Gordy's son. I was not. And then I'll never forget, I almost saw Ray kill Balls Mahoney one night. We were sharing a rental car, and Balls told Ray Gordy, and Balls was always very nice to me, and I have nothing bad to say about Balls. I like Balls. He invited himself on a fishing trip with my family at one WrestleMania, which is a story that my dad and I just recounted earlier. But Balls told us in the rental car that deep down inside, he knew he was a better worker than Terry Gordy while Ray was driving the car. And I was like, "Please don't drive us off the fucking bridge so you can kill him, because I'm here too."
Wow, that is incredible.
It was pretty incredible.
Terry Gordy, I think, is another one for that, Nikita category of people probably don't realize historical significance is probably understated. I think, genuinely big, a huge deal. Absolutely.
Huge.
All right, let's do some plugs, fellas. I've kept you for far too long. It's a Wednesday night. Gallows thought he was reviewing Dynamite. It's been a roller coaster ride. We've had a great time.
I wanted to talk about Kyle Fletcher. We never got to it. Fuck.
Yes, we did it on Talking Shop. All right, we did do that. Inexplicably did it. I texted a friend of mine when they were listening to it. Was like, "Did we do the Stevie Richards thing on the air?" He was like, "Yep." I was like, "Why?" I don't know where we went into that, but anyway, nonetheless, we must put over. There's a bunch coming out, and I'll pass it all to you guys for plugs in a moment. But Prestige this weekend. I saw they announced they're going to be showing it on YouTube early next week. I think we're going to do like a watch along or something on this platform. But that's a really cool promotion. We talked about it when we were in person. And Midnight Heat are a team that, to do a little Tokyo Tape reference, I know FTR have been bullish on at times, and like they've been going for a while now. So that's a really cool show. I know Shayna Baszler is on that show too. But more than anything, fellas, I want to give you guys a chance to just put over what's coming up. I know you guys are here, there, and everywhere, right?
Man, there's so much rocking. We got Gainesville, Florida Saturday. We fly directly to Portland, Oregon Monday. We're gonna start going live. We're gonna start going live on YouTube on Talking Chop, which we wanted to announce here. So hopefully we can get Joe on there. And what are we gonna do? Fuck, I don't know. I mean, are we gonna review shows? Are we stepping into that space now? I don't know if we're ready for all that.
I don't know if we're ready for it. We got so much life experience and wrestling experience and stuff that's upcoming. We can talk about it forever. Friday night, I'm in Tyrone, Georgia by myself. I hate being by myself. Saturday night, we are in Gainesville, Florida for the Florida Wrestling Empire. Sunday, Prestige Wrestling. Next week, at some point, we'll go live on YouTube. Then the following Friday, which I believe is October the 10th, we are in Cocoa Beach, Florida for ALW. Saturday, we will be in Lewistown, Pennsylvania for the Honorary Wrestling Federation. Then Sunday, we're going to a place I haven't been in over a decade, a great little promotion in South Carolina, OSCW in Charleston. We'll be there. And then, I don't know.
Then we go off to we go to our AAW debut in Chicago,
October the 18th.
Another cool promotion. Yep.
Then we go to Winnipeg Pro, which is another hot promotion. I think Danhausen is there with us on October the 19th. And then we just go on to into the future.
Yeah, every Saturday until February we got something. Every Saturday and Sunday until like January. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for Gallows for Gallows on half of them. It's dude, we're packed now, and it's like, and there's so much going on. It's awesome. We got our Roku channel, we got our Triller Plus TV show going on, Talking Shop on all podcast platforms. Like, just if you get a chance to see us in your area, I just say come and see us, because you never know how long we'll stay out in the wild, because you never know when something pops up and we got to go away for a while again. You know,
we're going to be like little plankton getting eaten by a whale, and we get sucked back into the system.
Yeah, you just never know when the corporate world comes back. And but for right now, it's not. And
for our fans around the world, we got a bunch of really, really cool international stuff coming up that it'll be announced through the next few weeks. And it truly is a world tour. People say it. We're fortunate enough to do it, and it's fun to get out into these places and not be under one of those banners or under those restrictions, and go to these different countries and different continents and kind of do whatever the hell we want and do our brand of wrestling. So we're very excited and very fortunate. We hope we see all the late night Grin fans out there while we're doing it.
Absolutely. And if you go to a show, go to the gimmick table and tell the boys LNG sent you, right? I mean, that wins.
Even if you don't buy something, say it. But I mean, buy something.
Yeah,
what a loud group you have. What a small loud group you have.
Great loud group. I love it.
They continue to con people in professional wrestling and think this is an important platform. We did it again. And speaking of that, you mentioned the YouTube channel. It's linked below, folks. I obviously was on there
thank you.
recently,
We need it. Nobody wants to plug us. Weird, huh?
Yes. And I think the lives, as you guys saw it tonight, you can go in so many directions, right? And you build a community. Anytime you need me there, go.
That was a great teaching tool for us.
Yes.
I literally thought we were going to go, well, the first match on Dynamite.
Yeah, I would never.
You can do that too.
And then I thought, well, what is my opinion on Hologram's clone? I don't know. I got to sit and analyze more.
I would
I'll become
never
a better
do that.
journalist by learning.
I could see me one day being like, hey guys, let's watch this fucking Great American Bash match. I don't know if I'm ever going to say this, do a Dynamite review. You know?
That would be fun.
Yes. I think that could be a fun thing. But the YouTube channel's linked below, and look forward to the lives. We'll keep feeling, in the loop with that, and maybe I'll stop by a time or two. That'd be very fun.
Oh, please. We'd love
Please,
that.
I can't wait. And I appreciate you. Thanks for having us. I appreciate your community. We appreciate the late night Grin people.
Yes.
We appreciate Joel Hubert for
I mean, come on, man.
for hanging out with the boys and becoming a friend. So just for supporting us from afar, not knowing us at all. I mean, you didn't know us personally whatsoever. You could have, you didn't have to support us for whatever reason you did. And, now, we appreciate it. So we're here for you.
We appreciate you. We appreciate the fans, and we appreciate doing what we get to do. And we're still doing it. We're still rocking, and the best is yet to come, baby.
Yes, indeed, folks. Support the lads. Follow them on the Twitter gimmicks. They're at it a million times on our socials. So check them out, and you'll see these wonderful graphics of where they're headed to next.
Wow, those are great graphics. You got to fire our people, please.
Yeah.
All right, folks.
Keep it
Tremendous stuff. We appreciate everyone that joined us. Please like the video if you haven't already. Subscribe to the Talking Shop channel, which again is linked below. The Prestige channel is under there too, because again, they'll be sharing that next week. And lads, if you can, stick around after the outro, so I'm thank you for the house, okay? All right,
You're welcome.
Thanks,
folks,
guys.
Have yourselves a great night. Keep grinning. All how. Enjoy this outro. Goodbye.